Mr. Weber.
Yeah, warm welcome. Thank you so much for your interest. Today we do the second car summit as European People's Party to invite the business community to give us advice and direction. Good politics starts for us as European People's Party with listening, with taking care about the practical problems we are facing there. I would also call the European People's Party the car party of Europe. We know how important this product, this industry is for Europeans. We speak about 30.8 million jobs in the European Union linked to the car sector, and that is the backbone of our industry in this moment of time. The first thing I want to underline is that our goal is a competitive, innovative and future-proof car industry for the European Union. And I want to underline that we have great companies. We are proud about our companies, about the products they produce in Europe. So we start from a moment of strength, that we see the strengths of our industry. The second point I want to make is that the regulatory framework must fit to this future-proof approach of the European Union regulation. And there, you know, one of the key battlegrounds in the last years, politically speaking, was the debate about the combustion engine. My group, the European People's Party, was always clear. We also didn't support the 2035 regulation in the last mandate. We promised in the election campaign 2 years ago that we will get rid of the ban on the combustion engine, and now we are delivering. The European Commission was proposing that the revised regulation in December based on the EPP promises, and now we are in the phase of finding now compromises here in the European Parliament. And that's why it's a decisive moment that the industry is again here, that you're taking time, investing and giving us advice in which direction we should go. As EPP, I just want to underline that we are delivering. The third point I want to make is that we keep an ambitious approach. 90% is an ambitious approach. I just want to underline this again. Even if we are going for more and more flexibility, because that was the lacking point in the current legislation, that we had not enough market reality integrated into this legislation. That's why 90% is ambitious, but we need flexibility for our car producers. The fourth point I want to make is that as EPP Group President, I want to offer again to socialists and to liberals to have a common approach inside of the center of the political families, of the democratic parties. I want to have legislative peace on the long run on this file. We cannot continue to have political discussions about the technologies which are then providing transport and mobility for our citizens. Again, I want to underline the offer to the other groups. Let's do this together. Let's finalize this together. And the last point I want to underline, there is more at stake. In this moment of time, we speak about the regulation for the combustion engine, for 2035 regulation, but there is more at stake when it is about the unfair competition there. We have the key question of innovation, where Europe can help on self-driving cars, and also the question about charging infrastructure, which is not a responsibility of the car companies, which is a responsibility also for the public sector. So more is at stake, but obviously in this car summit today, we will mainly discuss about the regulation 2035. And that's why, again, we are under the EPP, that so high-level participants are there to get exactly this listening approach in reality.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank Manfred Weber for organizing this dialogue today. I think it comes at the exactly right time to discuss Europe's competitiveness, our industrialization, and how we chart a successful path forward. I would like to underline something that Mr. Weber said. The automotive industry is Europe's largest industry. Next to the millions of jobs, it is also the industry that spends 1/3 of all private spending into R&D is the European automotive industry. Very innovative, very forward-looking, very competitive, and spending more than 250 billion also into electrification and decarbonization. So we're playing with a forward strategy. But this needs to happen in an environment and also a political framework that works. So we want to create synchronization between competitiveness, strong economy, jobs, decarbonization, and resilience. And it is obvious that the regulation that was put in some years ago, back in 2020 or so, it has some flaws and it needs adjustment. And I think that dialogue is going on right now to make the right adjustments so we have an economically successful, strong European path towards decarbonization. And there I ask policymakers to be open-minded and pragmatic, not get stuck sometimes in ideological positions that are beside market realities. Because if this is going to work, we cannot ignore the market forces. It is convincing the customers and creating the infrastructure and the circumstances to make this path successful. We're ready to do this. We're investing to do this. And we're looking forward to an open dialogue with an open, pragmatic mind to make the necessary adjustments. Thank you.
Mr. Zink, please.
Well, on my behalf, CLEPA, I'm representing the Suppliers Association. So with that, about 1.7 million jobs associated to that. And I want to thank you as well, Herr Weber, and as well you, Ola, for involving me in this car summit here. We are an integral part of the automotive industry, as Ola said. So it's since a while we are working very close on these challenges. And on what's 1.7 million, I talked about more than 100,000 jobs are already announced to leave Europe or are restructured. And last year, 30% of these jobs was due to insolvency and bankruptcy. So the situation is very critical on the supplier side. Commitment is there, for sure, for the decarbonization. But we have to be more pragmatic, more realistic, as you said, in turning a well-intended regulation now into a reality, a pragmatic reality for our Europe here. Situation is tight, as I said, so there is a strong competition versus in particular the Chinese suppliers and car makers. I guess we still have our fortune in our own hands, but we have to now turn this package in a pragmatic reality with your support. I really like the EPP commitment, the position you took, the paper you proposed. But as you already said, I guess it needs a majority. It needs a consensus here in the parliament to really turn it into law, into reality. And that's something we, the suppliers, will support you together with Ola, with the automotive industry. And yeah, we remain to be committed. Thank you for having us.
Jana Hemmersmeyer for AFP News Agency. Mr. Weber, you said you wanted to work with S&D and Renew on this file. However, the report that's been drafted by Mr. Salini seems like it's more aligned with the ideas of maybe ECR and PFE. Are you already talking with these groups as well? And would you consider bringing the file through Parliament with them? Thanks.
Well, I said it, we want to have a solution inside of the democratic center of the European Parliament. Again, the combustion and the debate about the technology cannot be a long-standing party political conflict. I want to solve it. And I have to say, 4 years ago, when we had the first debate about the regulation on 35, EPP was isolated. EPP was not listened. The left liberal majority did what they wanted to do. And they made mistakes, I have to say it. And now we see it in the reality, on the market reality. That's why we change our behavior now. I want to have a solution in the center. I think it's a quite normal thing that an EPP rapporteur presents an EPP report. That is a starting point of a negotiation. So my message is, this is an offer, this is our position, and now let's listen what socialists and liberals tell us on these issues, and then sit together and try to find a compromise. The will is there. I want to underline this.
Another question here in the front, please.
Greta Karvala, Kauppalehti Business Media. I would like to ask, what is the biggest threat, European legislation or China for the automotive industry?
The automotive industry is one of the most competitive industries in the world. And of course, with the growing and strong Chinese auto industry being part of that in the last years as well, makes the competitive intensity even more. So in a situation like that, what should be the strategy? Look at your own competitiveness. What can you do policy-wise to make entrepreneurship and competitiveness here in Europe stronger and not burden businesses or slow down businesses? So we need a more intelligent approach towards regulation, and in some cases roll back some regulation to make a leap forward. What is absolutely clear is that the European auto industry has chosen a path that is in the direction of zero emission. So that's not the debate. It's about the method. How do you get there? We have a target picture, But it is clear that the regulation method that we have chosen up until now, it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked as intended. And that's when you have to sit down and say, okay, I changed my game plan here. Any business would do that. Any sports team would do that. And Europe needs to do it as well.
Time for one more question. Markus, please.
Yeah, Markus Grabitz from Europe Table. Mr. Chairman, you mentioned you want to have legislative peace. There is a second report on the table by the socialists on clean corporate fleets. And it is obvious that there are contrasts between and conflict between this report and the Salini report, which comes from your group. And do you see the necessity to negotiate at one point over the whole automotive package, or do you want to keep it separately?
Well, the car sector needs a comprehensive approach on all sectors. I give you the example of RED directive is also part of this, biofuels is also part of the legislation. So we need a comprehensive approach that finally it works. The market realities and an ambitious climate policy works, the two things together. The European People's Party has not yet decided the final position on the corporate fleet proposal on the table. So there is no final decision on the table. I again invite everyone to come together and find solutions. But I just want to underline one thing. We are having a situation in the industry which is a demanding one, if I say it mildly. It is a challenging one. We are losing jobs every day. In my constituency in Lower Bavaria, I have today the information that one factory closed, so 350 people lost their jobs. So because 100,000 sounds always so theoretical, 350 people in my city means a lot. It's well-paid jobs because car industry is a good, high-quality jobs, well-paid jobs. That means a lot. Families behind this. So we are talking about a lot. We are talking about a lot. That's why I'm really committed to do it in the center. But I must ask socialists and liberals and parts of Greens, please listen to the reality. Not only to the CEOs. Listen to trade unions now. We have the cooperation with trade unions. Listen to them. Care about them. We have to do it together. Otherwise, we will lose people and politicians will win where nobody has an interest in. So I can only appeal to everyone. I can only ask everyone, please do it like the EPP is doing it. Listen to the car sector, taking care and find then good, reasonable compromises.